Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have swatches for you from the Tasty collection from the brand Zoya. These are available right now, so in the description box I'll link the Zoya website, I'll link their Instagram page, and I will link my Instagram page where you can see more swatches of everything from today's video. A quick note, they also sent the Z-Wide brushes, which I do prefer over their standard skinny round brush, so I did replace all of my brushes with the Z-Wide brushes. So there are 6 polishes in this collection, and let's go ahead and get started. So first we have Abigail. This one is described as a medium elephant gray with cool undertones in a cream formula. So here's our first coat of Abigail. This one is pretty sheer here on this first coat. It's nice coverage, but it's just patchy on my nails. So even with the Z-Wide brush, I did need 3 coats of this, but the formula is magnificent. Very smooth, very buttery. I had no running, pooling, or staining, just an excellent Zoya formula to work with. So here's our second coat, and this covers very well here on 2 coats, and I can't stress this enough that if I had a base coat on, which I don't swatch with a base coat, I just swatch too many polishes, and that would just take too much dry time for me. I would probably be happy with this in 2 coats, but since I didn't, I am going to go in for 3 just to cover up any extra spots that my ridges in my nails create through polish. So here is that third coat. This is nice and glossy all on its own. If you want a top coat, I do recommend it. It will help chipping. So there's 3 coats of Abigail. Next up we have Crystal, and this is described as a grade muted gray mulberry with warm undertones in a cream formula. So here's our first coat of Crystal. This one is also pretty sheer here on this first coat. It has about the same coverage that Abigail had, but this one is much closer to my skin tone, so I was happy at 2 coats with this one. Depending on your application, it is much the same as the last polish that we looked at. You might end up needing or wanting a 3rd coat, but I was happy at 2. Again, the same excellent, beautiful, buttery formula that Zoya is kind of known for with their cream polishes. Very smooth application. This is also going to dry nice and glossy all on its own. However, a top coat will help protect your manicure from dents and scratches and make it last longer. But there's 2 coats of Crystal. Up next we have Ray, and this one is described as a dusty rose suede with subtle warm and tan undertones, again in a cream formula. So here's our first coat of Ray. This one does cover pretty well here on this first coat. I know Zoya has like a coverage spectrum, and I think this probably between a 1 and a 5. It lays somewhere around a 4. It's almost a 1 coater, but not quite. Again, that same excellent, very smooth application, beautiful formula. I did get full coverage here in 2 coats. Just like all of their other creams, this one is going to dry to a nice, beautiful, plump finish, and this is just such a stunning color. However, it is extremely close to the next polish, so I am going to put in a little side-by-side photo at the end of the next polish just to show the 2 together. So there's 2 coats. Next up we have Hattie, and this one is described as a rosy Tuscan pink in a cream formula. Here's our first coat of Hattie. So this one, like I said, is very, very close to Ray in the finished product. This one does have a more Crelly-like formula. So on that 1 to 5 coverage scale, I would put this one at probably like a 3.5. Just a little bit less coverage than Ray had, but the same excellent smooth formula. I did get full coverage still in 2 coats. Again, a nice plump glossy finish. This one is just a little bit darker, just like by an absolute hair darker than Ray was. So depending on what you're looking for in your overall manicure, both of these are absolute winners of pinks. But there are 2 coats of Hattie. Next up we have Elowen, and this is described as a spicy, rich cabaret in a cream formula. Here's our first coat of Elowen. This one does cover pretty well overall on this first coat. It is a little bit more jelly and squishy, however, with those absolute
wonders of ridges in my nail. It did apply a little bit unevenly. You can tell like some spots are a little bit darker where the polish was settling into my ridges. So that is a me problem and a no base coat problem. I was happy with coverage in 2 coats, especially if I was wearing a base coat. But if I wasn't, it is a jelly, so some spots are a little darker. I might have opted for 3. This is going to dry nice and glossy. So there are 2 coats of Elowen. And lastly for today we have Aura, and this is described as a dark chocolate tinged blackberry in a cream formula. And here's our first coat of Aura. This one has a lot of similarities in formula to Elowen. However, this one is a little bit more creamy where the last one was a little bit more jelly. So I did still get coverage in 2 coats, but I do think this one was a very solid 2-coater. Even with my ridges, I had no issues with coverage in just 2 coats. Again, an absolute perfect formula, no issues with running, pulling, staining, or patchiness at the end. A nice, beautiful, glossy finish. Really nothing to complain about here other than I don't personally wear purple polishes, so it's a gorgeous polish, but there are 2 coats of Aura.
And guys, that is it. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of these polishes. Let me know if you plan on picking any of them up, and let me know what your favorite was. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you'd like to see more from me, and I will talk to you again next time.